Hello dear students. In last lecture we studied about the endomembrane system, and I am sure now you can tell me the members of endomembrane system. Yes, they are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, vacuoles and lysosomes. If I ask you why are they called endomembrane system, your answer would be because structurally and functionally they are coordinating with each other. But if I ask you, what is other similarity in all these organelles? What will be your answer? Yes, your answer would be that all of these organelles are having a single membrane in them. But today we'll study about the organelles which have double membrane. That is one similarity. Second similarity is that both these organelles which we are going to study today they are called as semi-autonomic organelles. Can you guess the names? Yes, you guessed it right. The organelles are mitochondria and plastids. Before going into the details of them, let us find out why are they called as semi-autonomic. They are called semi-autonomic because they have their own independent machinery. Details we will study later on, but they have their own independent machinery. Even many scientists believe that earlier they were independent prokaryotic organisms which integrated into the eukaryotic organisms and became the integral part of the eukaryotic cells. Yes, these organelles, they have their own independence, but for many things they depend upon the eukaryotic cell. Therefore, we call them as semi-autonomic organelles. We'll study about them in detail. Let's first talk about mitochondria. So, mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria are called as the powerhouse because inside them the oxidative phosphorylation takes place where ATP synthesis takes place. We will come to it later on. These mitochondria are cylindrical structures having a diameter of 0.2 to 1 micron and the length is about 1 to 4 micron. So these structures, if you see, they are having double membranes, the outer membrane and the inner membrane. And because of these two membranes, there are two compartments, outer compartment and inner compartment. The outer membrane is uniform, whereas the inner membrane is folded in finger-like projections in the matrix and they are known as cristae. On these cristae you can see there are oxysomes. These oxysomes are responsible for ATP synthesis. In the mitochondria, there is a circular DNA, there are 70S ribosomes and RNA, because of which it can perform its own fission and its own proteins. So on the inner, you can see in the diagram here, these finger-like projections which are called as cristae, they have these structures which are called as oxysomes. These oxysomes are the sites where the ATP synthesis takes place. ATP and inorganic phosphate, they combine and inside them there is a specific enzyme called ATP synthetase, because of which ATP is synthesized. That's why it is called as the powerhouse. Now the number and the size as well as the foldings of the mitochondria depends upon the power requirement of a cell. Generally, the mitochondria of plant cells are very simple, having less foldings, whereas the mitochondria of animal cells are more longer and having more folds. Also, even in the body, if you compare, the muscles will have more number of mitochondria because the energy demand in muscles is very high. So this was about the mitochondria, which are known as the powerhouse of the cell. After mitochondria, let's switch over to next semi-autonomic organelles, which are known as plastids. Plastids provide color to the cell. So based on the type of pigments, they may be chloroplast, chromoplast or leucoplast. Let's start with chloroplast. Chloroplasts are the green plastids. If you see the structure of a chloroplast, they are generally present in photosynthesizing parts. So they are disc shaped with a size of about 5 to 10 millimeter in length and 2 to 4 millimeter in width. They are having two layers, but both the membranes, they are smooth, and the matrix which is present inside the inner membrane is known as stroma. In the stroma, there are stacks of coin-like structures called as grana. These grana are made up of about 20 to 50 thylakoids, coin-like structures called thylakoids. These thylakoids actually have the photosynthetic pigments, that is chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, xanthophyll, carotene. They are the sites for light reactions of photosynthesis. Now, these grana, the stacks are called as grana. They are connected, interconnected by the stroma lamellae called as frets. Now, the matrix is the site for dark reaction. So these plastids generally are present in the mesophyll cells. Apart from the plant cell, they are also present in the photosynthetic protists also. Now let's switch over to chromoplast. Chromoplasts are the colorful plastids. They are colorful because the chlorophyll is disintegrated into carotene, xanthophyll or anthocyanin. As a result, they provide different colors to the flowers, fruits and sometimes to the leaves also. Then the last type of plastids are called as leucoplast. They are colorless plastids. Their main function is storage. So based on the type of storage, they may be amyloplast, that is storing starch, elaioplast, storing fats, and aleuroplast, storing proteins. So these plastids, just like mitochondria, they are also semi-autonomic organelles. Why? Because you can see there is a DNA here, and they also have 70S ribosomes. So they have their own machinery. So both these mitochondria and plastids, they form a very important machinery of a eukaryotic cell. Though they have their own independence, but they also depend upon the main chromosome for integrating, for coordinating various reactions. Okay, so these two organelles, that is mitochondria and plastids, they provide a definite function to the eukaryotic cell. So today we studied about the double membrane organelles, that is mitochondria and plastids. So I hope you have understood them. These two are very important organelles. Please practice about them. Thank you.